There are moments in life that don't fit into the timeline we've been given. You walk into a place you've never been, and yet something inside you stills. Not with confusion, but with a strange kind of peace, like a returning. The air feels familiar. The colors stir something unnamed. Your body softens not because it understands, but because it remembers. It's not logical. It doesn't announce itself. But somewhere deeper than thought, I've been here before. We call this déjà vu, and most explanations stop at the surface. The brain misfires. A short-term memory gets stored twice. Neural echoes. Science offers us these terms as reassurance that this flicker of the uncanny has a tidy cause, a box it fits inside. But you and I both know that some moments don't want to be boxed. Some moments arrive with too much gravity. They feel sacred. They feel personal. As if the world, just for a breath, has folded over itself. And you're touching a place you were never supposed to forget. These moments don't just feel familiar. They feel like proof of something you can't explain, but that you've carried with you all along. We live in a world obsessed with what can be measured. Proof is the currency of modern truth. If you can't replicate it in a lab, it doesn't exist. If you can't explain it with a chart, it's dismissed as fantasy. But the human soul was never designed to live inside lab conditions. It was made for experience, for presence, for a kind of knowing that precedes language. And that kind of knowing is remembered, not taught. From ancient Egyptian beliefs in the Ka and Ba to the Hindu concept of Atman, the soul not only survives death, it moves through lives. It accumulates knowledge, undergoes karmic lessons, carries emotional residue, and seeks resolution across lifetimes. This idea isn't fringe. It's foundational to billions of people across the ages. And what's more, it explains the unexplainable. The child prodigy who plays Mozart without ever being taught. The adult who mourns someone they just met. The vivid dreams of places never visited, languages never learned, and lifetimes never lived. At least, not in this body. But maybe memory doesn't belong solely to the body. Maybe some part of us continues. And maybe the feeling we call déjà vu is not a glitch, but a whisper, a breadcrumb, a spiritual GPS ping from the part of you that never forgot. To even entertain this possibility is to challenge almost everything we've been taught about identity, time, and consciousness. Western thinking likes clean edges. We're born, we live, we die. Consciousness is brain function. The self is formed by nurture and nature, not by a lineage of unseen lives. But then again, many of the deepest truths have always been inconvenient. And for those who felt it, truly felt it, the question isn't whether it's real. The question becomes, what do I do with this knowing? This is not a call to reject science. It's a call to expand it. To remember that before there was biology, there was myth. Before there was psychology, there was story. Before we had clinical terms for everything, we had lived experience. Strange, profound, messy, and sacred. Sometimes the only language available was poetry. Sometimes the only evidence was the ache in the chest that said, I've lost something I can't name. Sometimes the only map was a dream that wouldn't let go. And that's where this story begins. Not with what we can prove, but with what we can't seem to forget. In this video, we'll explore the layered possibilities of soul memory, how the self may be a continuation of something much older than your current name, face, or life. We'll speak of reincarnation, not as dogma, but as metaphor, philosophy, and sometimes even evidence. We'll look at ancestral memory, not just as trauma passed down through genetics, but as knowledge, intuition, and fear inherited before we even learn to speak. We'll look at déjà vu not as an error, but as a signal, a soft and haunting reminder that the soul may be on a path it has walked before. Some of what you recarrying was never meant to be learned. It was always meant to be remembered. We will also ask the harder questions. What does it mean to carry a soul that's older than your lifetime? Why do certain places feel like home before we've lived there? Why do some connections arrive with grief already in them? As if we're mourning something lost long before the meeting. And most importantly, what healing becomes possible when we stop searching for answers outside ourselves and start listening to the part of us that already knows? Because maybe the truth isn't something new. Maybe it's something ancient, finally returning. Not all dreams feel like fiction. Some come wrapped in silence so deep, so oddly familiar. They feel like memories awakening rather than imagination unfolding. You've had them, haven't you? Dreams that didn't feel like dreams at all. They don't fade with the morning sun. They cling. Their colors are strange. Their language is unknown, and yet somehow understood. You don't wake up confused. You wake up homesick. But not for anything in this life. This is where many people first meet the idea of a life before this one. Not in books, not in temples, but in sleep. When the thinking mind lets go and the soul speaks in symbols. In these dreams, you're not just watching, you're remembering. You know where to go, even though you've never been there. You grieve people you've never met. You recognize the weight of a robe, the grip of a sword, the scent of firewood on unfamiliar wind. The details are vivid, but there's no context, no narrative. Only the emotional truth remains. That is how you know it is not just a story. It is a fragment of something once real. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, spoke of the collective unconscious, a vast ocean of inherited memory and archetype that lives beneath our personal awareness. But even he left room for something more. He admitted that some dreams feel too intimate, too unique to be merely collective. They don't follow archetype, they follow you. They seem to speak directly to something you haven't lived in this body, but perhaps lived before. Many children report these kinds of dreams early in life. Some are dismissed as imagination, others are written off as television-fueled fantasy. But researchers in the field of parapsychology have documented countless cases of children who describe past lives with extraordinary detail. Names, places, events, often things they had no exposure to. In one case, a young boy described being a World War II pilot. He named his ship, his base, and even the model of his aircraft, facts later confirmed through military records. He wasn't just dreaming, he was remembering. But even if you've never spoken such things aloud, even if you've brushed them off as nonsense, a dream can leave an imprint, a kind of echo. It doesn't need to be fact-checked to change you. A dream can redirect your path, alter your relationships, or awaken a longing you never knew had a name. You might find yourself drawn to a specific culture, fascinated by a language you've never studied, or heartbroken over a piece of music that shouldn't carry any emotional weight. But it does. Deeply. Unexplainably. The question then isn't just whether reincarnation is real. The question is, why does some part of us act like it already believes? Why does the soul sometimes seem to reach forward through dreams, through symbols, through emotion, and remind us of a life our mind never lived? Could it be that time is not as linear as we think? That dreaming doesn't take us into fantasy, but sideways into memory? Perhaps what we call a dream is not a story at all. Perhaps it is a reunion. And perhaps the reason these dreams return again and again is because there's something unresolved, something unfinished, something the soul has carried across lifetimes, waiting for the right moment, or the right body, to finally remember and release it. In some indigenous traditions, dreams are not personal, they're communal. They're messages from ancestors, from the land, from the great web of memory that ties all things together. To dream vividly is to listen well, and to ignore these dreams is to cut yourself off from the wisdom you were born to carry. So what do we do with these dreams that feel more like memories than imagination? We listen. We record them. We speak them aloud. Not for validation, but for integration. Because when we deny these fragments, we deny a part of ourselves. But when we honor them, even if we can't fully explain them, something begins to shift. A deeper layer of self comes into view, the kind that doesn't need proof to be real. There will always be those who laugh, who say it's just a dream. But the wisest among us know, not all dreams are equal. Some arrive to comfort, some arrive to warn, and some, the ones we carry for years, arrive to remind us that we are more than this moment, more than this skin, more than this single thread of identity. We are memory in motion. We are stories mid-sentence. And sometimes we remember, not with the mind, but with the soul. It's easy to think of inheritance in biological terms: eye color, height, the shape of a jaw, or the way a laugh echoes through generations. But what if we inherit more than just physical traits? What if we also inherit fears that were never ours, desires we can't trace, grief that doesn't belong to us but still lives in our bones? Science is slowly catching up to what many ancient cultures have always known. Trauma can be passed down. Through behaviors, yes, but also through biology. The field of epigenetics has uncovered remarkable evidence that the experiences of our ancestors can alter the way our genes express themselves. A famine suffered by a grandparent can influence the metabolism of their grandchild. A war, a displacement, a deep betrayal. These don't just vanish, they echo, they imprint. And sometimes they whisper through us without ever announcing their presence. We grow up thinking we are singular, that our struggles are uniquely ours. But then a panic strikes in a place we've never feared. A sadness settles on our chest with no clear reason. We love too hard, lose too fast, or walk away from things that matter. And we don't know why. The answers aren't always in our childhood. Sometimes they are older, sometimes they are inherited. And it's not just trauma that gets passed down. Memory does too, though not always in recognizable form. A fascination with certain places, a sense of belonging in a land you've never visited, a deep pull toward a religion your family never practiced. These aren't accidents, these are echoes. In West African traditions, it's believed that ancestors live on through the breath of their descendants, not metaphorically, but literally. Your life force is a continuation of theirs. In some Native American belief systems, dreams are used to access ancestral guidance. The dead are not gone. They are woven into the living. And in Hinduism, samskaras, impressions from previous lives, carry into your present one, shaping your tendencies, your preferences, your struggles. Western psychology has started to nod in this direction too. Jung spoke of the shadow, the repressed and unacknowledged parts of the psyche. But he also spoke of the ancestral unconscious, a layer of the mind that holds not only your personal memories, but those of your lineage. He believed that we are haunted not only by our own forgotten moments, but by what was unresolved in those who came before us. This means that healing isn't personal, it's generational. Every time you face something inside yourself, a wound, a fear, a pattern, you are not just healing for you, you are healing for them. The voices that never spoke, the tears that were never cried, the traumas that were buried too deep to name. You carry their silence, yes, but you also carry the chance to break it. There's a reason some people feel like old souls. They are not simply wise, they are carrying the weight of generations. And there's a reason some lives feel impossibly heavy, despite an absence of obvious hardship. The weight may not be from this life, but it is yours now, not as punishment, but as possibility. And this brings us back to the soul. If we are more than flesh, if we are spirit wrapped in experience, then the soul, too, may be shaped by those who came before. Not as a blank slate, but as a thread in a much larger tapestry. You are not the beginning of your story. You are a continuation, and your soul, like your blood, may remember things your mind cannot. In the same way that a child instinctively recoils from fire without ever being burned, your soul may flinch from patterns you've never seen, but felt. Patterns your ancestors lived through. Patterns you were born to interrupt. Some people fear this idea that we are carrying more than we can see, but I think it's a form of power, because it means we are never alone in our becoming. That when you sit in silence and ask yourself why you are the way you are, the answers may come not from introspection, but from the voices beneath your own. Those who walked before you, those who didn't finish their sentences, those who never got to speak. They are still here, and they're speaking through you. So when you feel something ancient rising in your chest, when you cry over something you can't explain, when you dream in symbols too old for your language, pause. Don't dismiss it. Listen, because it might not be madness, it might be memory, and it might not be yours alone. You are not just made of stars, you are made of story. And some of those stories did not begin with you, but they can end with you. There is something unsettling about déjà vu. The experience is brief, but haunting. You find yourself in a moment that feels identical to one you've lived before, even though you know, rationally, that you haven't. It's not just the scenery, it's the timing, the arrangement of sound, light, emotion, and energy. It strikes with such precision that you almost expect to predict what will happen next. And sometimes, you do. Science has offered several theories to explain this phenomenon. One suggests that the brain stores short-term and long-term memory simultaneously, creating the illusion of familiarity. Another proposes a brief delay between hemispheres, a processing lag that makes new information feel like a memory. But for all its hypotheses, science has not yet captured the depth of the feeling. It can describe the mechanism, perhaps, but not the meaning. Because for many, déjà vu doesn't feel like a trick of the brain. It feels like something sacred, something intimate, something personal. It arrives in a way that suggests the soul is trying to get your attention, and maybe that's exactly what it is. What if déjà vu is not a cognitive malfunction, but a metaphysical breadcrumb, a soul signal, a whisper from something older inside you that wants you to remember rather than simply move forward? In many spiritual traditions, déjà vu is viewed as a moment of alignment, a sign that you are where you were supposed to be, doing what your soul already agreed to before birth. It's the timeline folding in on itself, a reminder that time is not a straight line, but a spiral. And when we reach a particular point in that spiral, something in us rings, like a tuning fork that has found its match. Children, especially, report high frequencies of déjà vu. Their minds are less conditioned, their perception less shaped by societal expectations. They haven't yet been told what's possible and what isn't. And so they remain open to those echoes, those flickers, those soft collisions between lifetimes. They experience reality with a kind of porousness we lose as we age. For them, remembering something they were never taught is not strange. It's natural. You may have felt it in conversation, when someone says something and you suddenly know their next words, or in a relationship, where the bond feels centuries old from the first eye contact, or in tragedy, when the pain feels pre-written, as if you've already wept this grief in another time, under another sky. None of this fits within the neat frameworks we've been handed. Déjà vu is inconvenient in that way. It disrupts our linear assumptions. It suggests that something outside the rules is still operating. And more importantly, that we are still listening, even if we don't realize it. And yet, not all déjà vu feels comforting. Some moments come with dread, with fear, with a heavy weight that suggests we've been here before, and it didn't end well. These too deserve our attention, because the soul doesn't just whisper nostalgia, it also remembers pain, mistakes, warnings. Sometimes déjà vu isn't a blessing. It's a checkpoint, A chance to choose differently this time. There is power in these moments. If we pause, if we don't immediately write them off, if we treat them like messages rather than malfunctions. Because every time déjà vu pulls you into the past, it's also asking you to be present. It's an invitation. Not to solve a mystery, but to feel its weight. And perhaps to honor the fact that something in you is trying to wake up. We live in a culture that demands explanation for everything, but not all truths can be dissected. Some must be experienced. And déjà vu is one of those truths. It arrives unannounced. It stirs something deeper than thought. And it leaves before we can capture it, like a dream that vanishes upon waking, but still changes your day. You don't need to believe in past lives to feel its power. You only need to admit that there is more to you than your memories, more to life than the present, and more to time than the ticking of clocks. So the next time déjà vu wraps its fingers around your spine, do not shrug it off. Sit with it. Let it speak. Maybe you've been here before. Maybe you've chosen this moment, this place, this lesson. Again. Not because you forgot, but because you're finally ready to remember. We are taught to see time as a river, always flowing in one direction, past, present, future. The past is gone, the future unknown, and the present is the only place we can act. It's a clean structure. It gives us control, or at least the illusion of it. But what if time isn't linear? What if the past isn't behind you, but within you? Consider how memory really works. It's not chronological, it's emotional. A scent can collapse decades. A piece of music can resurrect a version of you that hasn't breathed in years. Grief can time travel you back to the moment of loss without warning. This isn't metaphor, it's how consciousness works. We live in timelines stacked on top of one another, versions of ourselves moving forward, backward, and sideways all the time. We call it memory, trauma, intuition. But underneath it, something older is moving. Something circular, something eternal. This is where the soul lives, not in the fixed idea of who you are, but in the unfolding truth of everything you've been, are, and could be. The soul does not measure time the way clocks do. It doesn't mark years, it marks lessons. It doesn't care whether an event happened yesterday or in a previous lifetime. If it's unresolved, if it's unintegrated, it will feel current. Because to the soul, everything still waiting to be healed is happening now. This is why certain patterns keep returning. Not because you're cursed, not because you're broken, but because your soul is trying to complete something. And it will keep drawing you into echoes, situations, people, choices, until you finally respond differently. Until you remember the thing that pain has tried to bury. Until you stop running from what still waits for you, buried not in the past, but in you. Healing, then, is not about letting go of the past. It's about finally meeting it, facing it. Not as a victim, but as a witness. A participant in something larger than this life. Something that began before you and will continue long after. The soul is not on a journey through time. It's on a journey through understanding. And sometimes that means revisiting an old wound, not because you failed the first time, but because you are now strong enough to finish the story. Many mystics, psychologists, and philosophers have pointed out that time is a human invention. Nature doesn't keep calendars. Your body doesn't know it is 30 or 50 or 70. It knows only rhythm, stress, rest, emotion. And your soul? It doesn't care about years at all. It cares about expansion, integration, wholeness. And that's why the past keeps showing up in new forms. Not to haunt you, but to invite you back into the unfinished rooms of your story. This perspective changes everything. You stop seeing yourself as someone dragging around old pain and start realizing you are someone gathering lost parts. You stop thinking healing is about erasure and begin to see it as recollection, a word that literally means to gather again. Your work isn't to escape the past. It's to become large enough to hold it, without being ruled by it. Think about the déjà vu moments, the ancestral dreams, the inexplicable longings, the love you feel for people you've just met. These are not glitches. They are the soul calling back its pieces. They are memory wrapped in new forms. They are echoes of your older self, asking not to be forgotten, but to be welcomed home. And when you begin to live from that place, life stops feeling like a straight road and starts to feel like a spiral, a return, a homecoming. You start to recognize that healing isn't becoming someone new. It's remembering someone you were always meant to be. You begin to trust that the strange knowing inside you is not confusion, it's continuity. The past is not behind you. It is beneath you, rooted deep, still growing through your decisions, your relationships, your fears, and your hopes. And the soul? The soul is the gardener, trying to turn every buried seed into a bloom. So don't run from your memories. Don't dismiss the dreams. Don't silence the knowing that has no source. These are your threads. And when woven together, they tell a story far older and more beautiful than one lifetime can explain. There are questions we carry, not because we want answers, but because they feel like home. Why do I feel this way? Where have I felt this before? Why does my soul respond to things my life has never known? Most people dismiss those questions. They get busy. They grow up. They tell themselves the past is behind them, that time only moves one way. But you, if you're here, still listening, then maybe something in you already knew that isn't true. Maybe your soul has been whispering all along. We like to believe memory lives in the brain. That identity is built on what we consciously remember, what we can name, recall, and place in time. But some things are remembered without language, felt without proof, mourned without knowing why. And maybe that's where the soul lives, in the in-between. The ache that appears in a song you've never heard before, the shiver that runs through you in a city you've never visited, the feeling of grief in someone else's story, the way your body tenses before your mind even understands why. We call that sensitivity. But maybe it's memory. And maybe memory doesn't belong to one lifetime or even one body. Across cultures and centuries, from Tibetan monks to West African shamans, from Plato's writings to modern mystics, there's a shared understanding. The soul is not new. It is old, incredibly old, and it does not forget, even when the mind does, even when the language is lost, even when the world insists otherwise. And when we stop trying to define it, when we stop demanding evidence and instead just listen, it speaks. It speaks in the way your hands tremble when you walk into a sacred space. It speaks in the certainty you feel when meeting someone for the first time. It speaks in the flash of a dream that makes your chest hurt, like you've returned to something unfinished. Some truths cannot be studied. They can only be remembered. And in that remembrance, something begins to soften. We stop feeling so alone, so disconnected, so broken by things we can't name. We start to understand that the healing we're redoing in this lifetime might be for more than just us. That our grief might belong to someone we've been before. That our joy might be a long-awaited reward. That our fears might not be irrational, but ancestral. And slowly, gently the soul comes forward, not to speak, but to reunite, to gather its scattered parts, to remind you that you are not starting your journey. You are continuing it. You are not learning everything for the first time. You are remembering. And the path you walk now, it is not unfamiliar. You have walked it before. You chose it. Again. Because some lessons are not learned once. Some are earned over lifetimes. And if you feel lost right now, if the world feels strange or heavy or impossible to carry, then take a breath. The part of you that knows what to do is older than anything trying to silence it. And it is still here, listening, remembering, becoming, not new, but whole.